Chapter 12. As the door closed behind him and the key was turned in the lock, Dr. Kemp slammed his forehead with his hand. "Am I dreaming?" he asked himself in amazement. "Has the world gone mad, or have I?" Then he rubbed his bruised neck where invisible fingers had held him during the struggle. No, it's not a dream. In fact, it's an undeniable fact. Kemp went downstairs into the small office where he sometimes saw patients, even though most of his practice of medicine was spent in research. After lighting the gas lamp, he gathered up the day's newspapers that his housekeeper had left there for him. He began reading each one thoroughly, amazed at headlines like "Strange Story from Iping" and "Entire Village in Sussex Goes Mad." As he read, he learned of the strange happenings involving an invisible man who ran through the streets striking people, attacking a constable, humiliating a doctor and reverend, and terrorizing everyone. When he had finished poring over every account, Kemp sat back, bewildered. Why on earth was he chasing that tramp he called Marvel? There was no mention of an accomplice in any of these stories. He's not only invisible, but after reading these accounts, I'm convinced that he's mad as well. Mad enough to be capable of murder. Dr. Kemp spent the rest of the night pacing up and down in his office, trying to decide what to do. He was still in his office when his housekeeper knocked in the morning. He gave her orders to serve breakfast for two upstairs in his study, but told her to stay downstairs on the ground floor of the house the entire day. Kemp waited in his office until the morning papers came. They contained an account of the happenings at the Jolly Cricketer the night before. They also mentioned a Mr. Thomas Marvel and quoted him as saying, "The invisible man made me stay with him for 24 hours. Marvel, however, did not bother to talk about the 3 books he had stolen from the invisible man or the man's money that now filled his pockets. "I'm beginning to fear what the man might do," whispered Kemp. "He's a maniac and he's here in my house, as free as air. What should I do? Would I be breaking my word if I..." Kemp thought a while, then came to a decision. He went to his desk and wrote a brief note. He put it in an envelope and addressed it to Colonel Idle, Port Burdock Police. Just as Kemp was handing the note to his housekeeper to deliver to town, a terrible noise came from his bedroom. Feet were rushing across the room. Chairs were being flung and broken, and the washstand and glasses were being smashed on the floor. Kemp whispered, "Hurry!" to the woman and ran upstairs. The bedroom door was still locked from the night before, but was open immediately at Kemp's loud knock. "What's the matter?" he asked the headless robe. "What was all the smashing about?" "Nothing," said the voice above the robe. "Just a fit of temper. I forgot this arm was injured when I went to use it." "You seem to have many of these outbursts of temper," said Kemp as he began picking up the broken glass and righting the overturned furniture. When he had finished, he turned to the invisible man and said, "The papers are full of news about you and the events in Iping and Port Burdock. Everyone is wondering where you are, but of course, no one knows you're here, that I'm going to help you." The invisible man began pacing and swearing under his breath. He didn't stop until Kemp suggested breakfast. At that, he followed the doctor upstairs to his study. After a nervous glance out the window, Kemp sat down at the table opposite a headless, handless robe. He watched and his invisible hands shook out the napkin and placed it in the lap of the robe. "You must explain this invisibility of yours, Griffin," said Kemp. "Surely you must realize how curious I am at your wonderful discovery." Wonderful, yes, at the beginning. But now I'm not sure. Not unless we can do great things with it. Listen, as I tell you what I've been through.